sank 2 U.S. aircraft carriers, is the chilling recipe a Chinese admiral gave to dominate the South China Sea. Rear Admiral Lou Yuan has told an audience in Shenzhen that the ongoing disputes over the ownership of the East and South China Seas could be resolved by sinking 2 U.S. supercarriers. It was reported Admiral Lou gave a wide-ranging speech on the state of Sino-U.S. relations. The high-profile, hawkish military commentator declared that China's new and highly capable anti-ship ballistic and cruise missiles were more than capable of hitting U.S. carriers, despite them being at the center of a bubble of defensive escorts. What the United States fears the most is taking casualties, Admiral Lou declared. He said the loss of one supercarrier would cost the U.S. the lives of 5,000 servicemen and women. Sinking 2 would double that toll. We will see how frightened America is. Beijing has annexed several reefs in the South China Sea, engaging in an enormous geoengineering project to build artificial islands upon which it has placed heavily fortified airfields and ports. With modern satellite, over-the-horizon radar systems and land-based missiles potentially outreach aircraft, forcing carriers to move into danger zones before they can be effective. But heavily networked radars, decoys and anti-missile systems aboard the aircraft carriers themselves and their escorts are believed capable of warding off attacks from current-generation missiles. However, both China and Russia have claimed they are rapidly bringing into service a new generation of hypersonic weapons which simply move too fast to counteract. Taiwan's unification with the mainland is inevitable, President Xi Jinping said, warning against any efforts to promote the island's independence and saying China would not renounce the option of using military force to bring it into the fold. China still sees democratic Taiwan as part of its territory to be reunified, despite the two sides being ruled separately since the end of a civil war on the mainland in 1949. In a speech, Xi described unification under a one-country, two-systems approach that would safeguard the interests and well-being of Taiwanese compatriots. To accommodate differences in Taiwan's political system and civil society, China has proposed adopting the one-country, two-systems policy, which was implemented in Hong Kong after the British handed the city back to China in 1997. But some say the erosion of civil liberties in Hong Kong sets a negative precedent for Taiwan. Taiwan considers itself a sovereign state, with its own currency, political and judicial systems, but has never declared formal independence from the mainland. Relations have been strained for the past 2 years since the election of President Ing-wen, who has refused to acknowledge Beijing's stance that the island is part of one China. Xi warned Beijing that Taiwan's people would never give up the kind of freedoms unseen on the authoritarian mainland. Beijing must respect the insistence of 23 million people for freedom and democracy and must use peaceful and equal terms to handle our differences, she said. The People's Army of Vietnam has received the first batch of T90's main battle tanks from Russia. At least 32 new MBTs and T90SK version of the T90s were delivered to Vietnam. In July 2017, it was announced that Russia supplies 64 T90's main battle tanks to Vietnam. The T90's tanks are likely to be used as replacements for the aging T-55s, few of which remain operational. The order comes amidst growing focus placed on the country's Air Force and Navy as Vietnam's security planners pay ever-increasing attention to China's actions in nearby waters. People's Army of Vietnam is upgrading its fleet of heavy armored vehicles.
Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you like the channel and want to support, please support on Patreon or PayPal. The details are given below in the description.